Shadow Registeel has arrived in Pokemon GO as the latest Tier 5 Shadow Raid boss, and in today's video, we're going to discuss how you can beat Shadow Registeel in Pokemon GO. Hello everyone, my name is Jeff Fields McCormick, and welcome back to Pokemon GO. As you just heard in today's video, we're going to be discussing how you can battle, defeat, and catch Shadow Registeel. Now, the very first question, the most important question, can it be shiny? And the answer to that is yes. This is a beautiful minty green shiny Pokemon. So, if you're a shiny hunter, if you're looking to add a new shiny to your collection, you should absolutely battle this. A few of the other questions that you might have: can you solo Shadow Registeel? No, you cannot. You cannot solo this Pokemon. The minimum, I would say, is between 3 to 6 trainers with ideal counters, powered up to level 45, 46, maybe even level 50. Personally, I wouldn't try it with less than 4, and ideally 6 to 7 or more. Now remember, because this is a Shadow Pokemon, you are not able to remote raid it. So if you're at a raid and it's just you, you can't send a bunch of invites to your friends and get remote help from your friends around the world. You have to be physically at the gym location. So if you want to go out, you want to hunt this shiny, make sure to bring a few trainers with you to battle Shadow Registeel. Now, as far as the counters are concerned, what is the best thing to bring in to the braid? This is a pure steel type Pokemon, meaning that it's weak to fire, it's weak to fighting, and it's weak to ground. For the fire types, the best counter by far is going to be Mega Charizard Y. Mega Charizard is an incredible fire type, and it is definitely one that if you don't have one yet, try to get it powered up. It's one of the best fire types in the game, one of the best overall Pokemon in Pokemon GO. Some other ones to consider is going to be Shadow Charizard with fire moves, Blaziken and Mega Blaziken, Shadow Chandelure, Reshiram with Fusion Flare, and if it doesn't have Fusion Flare, Overheat's also going to do a ton of damage, just not quite as much as that signature move of Fusion Flare. If you don't have those Pokemon, maybe you haven't had a chance to power up the Shadows, or you don't quite have as much Stardust, there are a couple of budget options from Kanto that I highly recommend. Arcanine and Flareon, both are really good fire types. We've had Growlithe and Arcanine in game for a while. We've had the Evolutions and Eevee in game for a while. So if you don't have Mega Charizard, if you don't have Reshiram, if you don't have Chandelure, go ahead and power up Arcanine and Flareon. Make sure they have fire type moves, and if it's sunny weather, your fire types will get a boost. The next thing that it's going to be weak to is fighting. As a steel type, again, it's weak to fire, fighting, and ground. For your fighting types, Shadow Machamp, Shadow Conkeldurr, and Shadow Hariyama are going to be 3 of the best. Now, if you don't have the Shadow versions, you can use the regular ones. They'll just do a little less damage. After that, a few Megas that I recommend are going to be Mega Blaziken, Mega Heracross, Mega Lopunny, which is currently in raids, Mega Medicham, and of course, Mega Lucario. Now, Lucario and Heracross, even if you don't have enough energy to Mega Evolve them, power up the non-Mega version, and they're still going to do a lot of really good damage, especially Lucario, which is already one of the best fighting types in the game. Now, don't forget, with your fighting types, they're going to be boosted in cloudy weather. Alright, that's going to bring us to the third and final weakness of Shadow Registeel. That, of course, will be ground. There are a couple of really good Mega and Primal, hint hint, Primal ground-type Pokemon to consider bringing in against Shadow Registeel. The number one, by far, one of the best Pokemon in the entire game, the best ground type right now, and probably for the next few years, is going to be Primal Groudon, ideally with Precipice Blades, but it still does a lot of damage with Earthquake. Then you're going to have Mega Garchomp, again, ideally with Earth Power. You want that signature move, but if it's got Earthquake, still going to do a lot of damage. And then Mega Steelix. Mega Steelix itself doesn't do a lot of damage, but it will boost all of the ground types that the people you're battling with bring into the battle. Now, if you don't have those, or maybe you have one, because remember, you can just have that one Mega in your party of 6, let's bring in some Shadows. Shadow Excadrill, Shadow Rhyperior, and Shadow Mamoswine are going to do an incredible amount of damage. And if you don't have the Shadow forms, regular Excadrill, Rhyperior, and Mamoswine with ground moves are still going to do a lot of damage. Again, just a little bit less because they don't have the Shadow bonus. And if you bring your ground types in during sunny weather, you will get the weather bonus. So you're going to do even more damage on top of the Shadow bonus, on top of the increased damage of the Mega Pokemon. So you've battled Registeel, you've defeated Registeel, and now it's time to catch him. What are you looking for with the combat power? For a hundo at level 20, which is not with the weather boost, you're looking for $13.98. If you've got snowy weather when you do the battle, which is pretty common in January in the Northern Hemisphere, you're looking for $17.48. And of course, for the Shundo, you're looking for $13.98 and $17.48 with that beautiful minty green. This is going to be a relatively difficult battle if you only have 4 or 5 people. So if you have a small raid community, try and bring them out, right? Saturday, Sunday, when these are out for the weekend raids, bring out a small group. Maybe do a carpool of a whole bunch of trainers, or do a classic raid train like we used to do in 2018 and 2019 when everybody would line up and we'd go raid all day back in like the old days of in-person raiding. Overall, it is not necessarily going to be worth maxing one out unless you get a shiny and you're excited about it, or you get a hundo, you just want to power it up. Registeel is really good in PvP. It's not so good in gym and raid battles. So if you're big on player versus player battles, if you're big on Great League, big on Ultra League, this might be something that you really consider investing Stardust and candies in. But if you're a shiny collector or you're just battling to battle a new Pokemon, I don't really recommend powering it up unless you just really like Registeel. Let me know down in the comments if you got a shiny Shadow Registeel. I love the minty green. It's one of the best shinies in the game. It's probably the best shiny Regi. The rest of them are just like a variant or a slight tint difference. Whereas with Registeel, it's a bright, beautiful minty green. Good luck on your shiny hunting. Go out there, battle some Registeels. And as always, I will see you in the next Pokemon Go video.